I spent 7 days helping my wife plan the perfect 10th anniversary party, knowing I was going to destroy her life in front of everyone she loved. And you know what? I smiled through every second of it. My name is Christopher. I'm 40 years old, a finance analyst at a mid-sized tech company in Seattle. Not flashy, not exciting, just solid. Numbers, spreadsheets, predictable patterns. That's my world, or at least it was. Amanda and I met 13 years ago at a company mixer. She was in marketing, all energy and vision and color-coded planners. I was the guy who could tell you exactly how much budget she had left for her campaigns down to the penny. She used to joke that we were opposites. Her chaos, my order, yin and yang. We got married after 3 years of dating, and for a decade, I really believed we'd figured it out. The secret formula, the winning equation. She was a project manager now, moved up the ranks at the same company where we'd met. Type A personality, obsessive about details, the kind of person who'd spend 6 months planning a birthday party. So when our 10th anniversary started approaching last fall, I knew it was going to be big. Amanda didn't do anything halfway. And I'm not exaggerating about the 6 months. She started planning in January for a June celebration. Pinterest boards, vendor consultations, tasting menus. She'd secured this gorgeous private room at an upscale restaurant downtown, exposed brick, Edison bulbs, the kind of place that photographs beautifully. 80 guests. Both our families, close friends, select colleagues. She'd crafted the invitation list like she was planning a political summit, weighing every name, every table arrangement. I helped, of course. That's what husbands do. I picked up rental confirmations, taste-tested appetizers, proofread her seating chart for the 100th time. She'd show me her vendor contracts, and I'd check the numbers, make sure everything added up. It was our dynamic. Her vision, my execution. The week before the party, I was running final errands. Picked up the sample centerpieces she'd obsessed over. White roses and eucalyptus, simple but elegant. Confirmed RSVPs from stragglers. Updated the Spotify playlist she'd created for cocktail hour. Normal stuff. Husband stuff. She'd text me throughout the day with updates, little bursts of excitement. Can't wait for Saturday. This is going to be perfect. Heart emojis, exclamation points. I'd text back the same energy, matching her enthusiasm. I didn't know yet that everything was a lie. That changed on a Tuesday. 8 days before the party, I got an email at work. Subject line, meeting required confidential. Sender, Brenda Chen, Director of Human Resources. My first thought was layoffs. The company had been doing restructuring, trimming departments. Maybe my number was up. I ran through my performance metrics in my head. All solid, no red flags. But you never really know. I've seen good people let go for budget reasons. The email was brief, professional. Christopher, I need to meet with you today regarding a confidential matter. Please come to my office at 2 p.m. This is not performance related. That last line should have been reassuring. It wasn't. I spent the morning distracted, half watching my spreadsheets, half wondering what the hell this was about. Compliance issue? Benefits problem? At 1:55 p.m., I walked across the building to HR. The hallways felt longer than usual. Fluorescent lights humming overhead, the familiar space suddenly alien. Brenda's office was at the end of the hall. She was waiting, door open. Mid-50s, kind eyes, the type of HR person who actually seemed to care about people rather than just protecting the company. She gestured for me to sit. Christopher, thank you for coming. I want you to know this conversation is going to be difficult, and I'm very sorry you're finding out this way. My stomach dropped, the tone, the setup. This wasn't about me. We received an anonymous complaint last week about an inappropriate relationship between two employees. Company policy requires us to investigate any claims involving managers and their direct reports. We pulled security footage from the regional operations team building retreat that happened 3 months ago. I remembered that retreat. Amanda had gone. It was her division. She'd been gone Thursday through Saturday, came back Sunday afternoon complaining about trust falls and bad conference room coffee, said she missed me. I'd stayed home that weekend with her sister, watched our dog, grilled burgers. Normal domestic life. Brenda slid her laptop around to face me. I need to show you this footage because our policy requires notification when a spouse is involved. I truly wish I didn't have to. She pressed play. The first clip was hotel lobby security footage. Timestamp, Thursday, 11:47 p.m. The video quality was decent. Corporate hotel, decent cameras. 2 people entered the frame from the left, Amanda and Thomas Reynolds. Thomas was my boss. Well, not direct supervisor. He was director of operations, a few levels above me. Mid-40s, charismatic, the kind of guy who remembered your kid's name and your fantasy football team. I'd worked with him for 6 years, respected him, trusted him. In the footage, they walked close together. His hand rested on her lower back, casual, familiar. They were laughing about something. They headed toward the elevators. That could be nothing, I heard myself say. Colleagues leaving an event together. Brenda said nothing. She played the next clip. Same lobby, Friday morning, 6:22 a.m. Thomas exited the elevator first, adjusting his shirt collar. 90 seconds later, Amanda appeared. She was wearing different clothes than the night before. Yoga pants, a loose top. She glanced around the lobby, checking to see if anyone was watching, then walked toward the elevator bank on the opposite side. Before Thomas turned toward his room, they kissed. Not a peck, a kiss. My ears started ringing. There's more, Brenda said quietly. Third clip. Hotel bar, Friday night, 10:18 p.m. They sat at the bar together, close, shoulders touching. Her hand rested on his thigh. He tucked a strand of her hair behind her ear, that intimate gesture you only do with someone you're close to, really close. They talked, laughed, ordered another round. Then they kissed again, longer this time, and left together. Fourth clip. Saturday morning, 7:03 a.m., checkout day. They exited the same elevator together, same room, obviously. They looked comfortable, familiar. He carried her bag along with his. At the lobby exit, he squeezed her hand before they went separate ways to their cars. Brenda paused the video. I'm so sorry, Christopher. I couldn't speak. My hands were shaking. The office felt too small, too warm. I could hear the HVAC system, someone laughing in the hallway outside, the hum of Brenda's laptop, everything too loud and too distant at the same time. That necklace, I finally said, voice barely above a whisper. The silver one she's wearing in the Friday night clip. I bought her that necklace for her birthday, last April. Brenda slid a box of tissues across the desk. I didn't take one. I just stared at the paused screen, at my wife's face frozen mid-laugh, looking at another man the way she used to look at me. How long has this been going on? I asked. We don't know for certain. This footage is from 3 months ago, but based on travel records and hotel bookings for their division, there were at least 4 other overnight trips in the past 18 months where they were both present. We're still investigating. Does he know you know? Not yet. Neither does Amanda. We're briefing the CEO on Thursday, and decisions will be made Friday about disciplinary action. Company policy prohibits romantic relationships between managers and subordinates due to conflict of interest. There are also questions about Amanda's promotion 6 months ago. Thomas was on the approval committee. Of course he was. Amanda had been thrilled about that promotion. Project manager to senior project manager, nice raise, better projects. She'd celebrated with champagne, called her parents, updated her LinkedIn. I'd been proud of her. Now I wondered if she'd earned it on her back. We're required to notify spouses when we discover this type of violation, Brenda continued, especially given the potential legal and ethical implications. I'm giving you 72 hours before we proceed officially with the disciplinary process. That gives you time to make personal arrangements, consult an attorney, secure finances, whatever you need to do. She pulled a USB drive from her desk drawer and slid it across to me. These are copies of the footage. You might need them for personal legal matters. She also handed me a printed document, a timeline. Hotel bookings, business trips, late-night meetings logged in calendar systems, project assignments where Amanda's team received unusual, preferential treatment. All circumstantial maybe, but damning when compiled together. I looked at the dates. 2 years. This had potentially been going on for 2 years. We'd celebrated our 9th anniversary during that time. I'd planned a surprise weekend trip to Napa Valley. 3 days of wine tastings, fancy dinners, a couple's massage. Amanda had cried happy tears when I'd surprised her with the booking, said I was the best husband in the world. Was she fucking him then too? "I'm so sorry, Christopher," Brenda said again. "You seem like a good guy. You didn't deserve this." I stood up. My legs felt disconnected from my body. "Thank you for telling me. I need to go." "Take the rest of the day off. Take tomorrow if you need to. HR will mark it as personal time." I walked out of her office, down the hallway, through the building I'd worked in for 8 years. Everything looked the same. Same cubicles, same fluorescent lights, same coffee station, but it was all wrong now. Distorted. Like I was walking through a funhouse mirror version of my life. I made it to my car in the parking garage, sat in the driver's seat, didn't start the engine, just gripped the steering wheel and stared at the concrete wall in front of me. My phone buzzed. Text from Amanda. "Can you pick up the sample centerpieces after work? Can't wait for Saturday." Saturday, the party. The perfect 10th anniversary celebration she'd been planning for 6 months. I read the text 3 times. The first impulse was obvious. Drive home right now. Confront her, scream, cry, demand answers, throw her clothes on the lawn, call Thomas and threaten him. Do what any normal person would do when they discovered their spouse had been cheating for 2 years. That's what she'd expect. That's what everyone does. Explosive confrontation, messy emotions, dramatic blow up. But I'm not everyone. I'm a finance analyst. I deal in numbers, patterns, calculated outcomes. And sitting in that car, USB drive in my pocket, feeling like it weighed 10 pounds, a different thought started forming. Amanda had planned this party for 6 months, 80 guests, both families, close friends, colleagues from our company. She'd obsessed over every detail, stressed about the table arrangements, agonized over the menu. She wanted it perfect. She told me 100 times, "I want everyone to see how happy we are, Christopher. I want them to see what 10 years of love looks like." The performance, the showcase, the carefully curated image. I pulled out my phone and looked at the guest list. We'd saved it in a shared Google Doc so I could help with RSVPs, scrolled through the names, both our parents, her sister, my brother, our closest friends, people from work, and there at table 4, Thomas and Susan Reynolds, Thomas's wife. Sweet Susan, who I'd met at a few company events. She'd complimented Amanda's dress at the last holiday party. She had no idea her husband was fucking my wife. 8 days until Saturday. Enough time to prepare, enough time to execute. Amanda didn't know that I knew. Thomas didn't know. They keep playing their parts, acting normal, thinking they were safe. So would I. What if I gave Amanda exactly what she wanted? The perfect party. Everyone there to witness us. The performance she'd been planning for months. And then I'd show them all the truth. I started the car, pulled out my phone, and called my brother James. He was a family law attorney, handled divorces and custody cases. He answered on the second ring. "James, I need your help. Confidential. Can you meet me tonight?" "Of course. What's going on?" "I'll explain in person. It's bad." "How bad?" I looked at the text from Amanda still glowing on my screen. Marriage ending bad. We agreed to meet at 8. I hung up and texted Amanda back. "Got the centerpieces? They look great. This party is going to be unforgettable." Then I drove home. Amanda was in the kitchen when I arrived, laptop open on the counter, phone pressed to her ear, talking to the florist about delivery times. She waved at me, smiled, mouthed, 5 minutes. I set the centerpieces on the dining table, white roses and eucalyptus arranged in simple glass vases. They did look good. Amanda had excellent taste. I'd always admired that about her. She finished her call and came over, examined the centerpieces with the intensity of a jeweler appraising diamonds. "Perfect," she said, kissing my cheek. "Absolutely perfect. Only 4 more days." 4 more days until she knew I knew. 4 more days of this performance. "Can't wait," I said, and I meant it. That night, after Amanda went to bed, I met James at a quiet restaurant across town. I showed him everything, the footage, the timeline, Brenda's notes. He watched in silence, his expression darkening with each clip. "Jesus Christ," he finally said. "Christopher, I'm so sorry." "I need to file for divorce. Friday. Friday, that's in 3 days. The party's Saturday. I want to serve her the papers then, at the party, in front of everyone." James set down his beer. Chris, that's nuclear." "She fucked my boss for 2 years. She planned this anniversary party to showcase our perfect marriage while she was screwing him in hotel rooms. I think nuclear is appropriate. I'm not saying she doesn't deserve consequences, but publicly humiliating her in front of 80 people, including both your families, that's going to have fallout for everyone." "I know. You're sure about this?" I thought about Amanda's face in that footage, the way she touched Thomas, the way she looked at him, the comfortable intimacy of 2 people who'd been doing this for a long time. "I'm sure." James nodded slowly. "Okay, I'll draw up the papers tonight. You'll need to sign them by end of day Thursday so I can file Friday morning. Washington's a no-fault divorce state, so the infidelity doesn't affect the legal outcome, but it sure as hell affects the optics." We talked logistics, asset division. I'd bought our house before we got married, so it stayed mine. Joint accounts would need to be split. No kids, thank God. That would make things cleaner. "What about your job?" James asked. "Thomas is your boss. Brenda said they're terminating him Friday. Ethics violation, conflict of interest. Amanda's under review too. She'll probably be demoted or fired." "Damn, so you're destroying their careers and your marriage in one weekend." "They destroyed it first. I'm just making sure everyone knows." After James left, I sat in my car in the parking lot and finally let myself fall apart. Ugly crying, the kind that racks your whole body. Gasping, shaking, snotty, devastating crying. I called my dad. "Christopher, you okay, son?" "No, Dad, I'm really not." "What happened?" "I can't explain yet, but something's going to happen Saturday at the anniversary party. I need you and Mom to be there. I need you to trust me." Silence on the other end. Then, "We'll be there, whatever you need." "Thanks, Dad." I hung up before he could ask more questions. Then I drove home. Amanda was already asleep, or pretending to be. I stood in our bedroom doorway, looking at her curled up under the duvet, her dark hair spread across the pillow. This woman I'd shared a bed with for 10 years, made love to, planned a future with. I'd memorized every freckle, every scar, every expression, and I didn't know her at all. I slept in the guest room that night, told myself it was because I didn't want to wake her with my laptop work. The truth was simpler. I couldn't stand the thought of her skin touching mine. Wednesday morning arrived with painful normalcy. Amanda made coffee, chatted about the final vendor confirmations, showed me a text from the photographer confirming arrival time. She was radiant, excited, completely oblivious. I complimented her coffee. Reviewed the timeline she'd created for Saturday, agreed that the photographer's hourly rate was reasonable. Every word tasted like ash in my mouth. "You seem distracted," Amanda said, studying me over her mug. "Work stuff?" Big audit coming up, nothing major. She bought it. Why wouldn't she? I'm the steady one, the reliable one, the guy who doesn't make waves. I kissed her goodbye at the door. She tasted like cinnamon toothpaste and lies. At the office, I saw Thomas in the hallway. He was heading to a meeting, tablet under his arm, talking on his phone. He spotted me and waved. Christopher, hey man, looking forward to Saturday. Amanda really outdid herself with this party. I shook his hand. His palm was warm and dry. I wondered how many times that hand had touched my wife. Yeah, I said, it'll be a night nobody forgets. Susan's excited too. She loves Amanda. Susan, his wife, who had no idea. It'll be great seeing her, I managed. Thomas clapped me on the shoulder and walked on. I stood in the hallway, watching him go, my hands clenched into fists at my sides. Dark humor kept me sane that day. Internal monologue running constantly. That hand was on my wife. That mouth kissed her. That man violated every professional and personal boundary and smiled at me like we were buddies. I wanted to put his head through a wall. Instead, I smiled back and went to my desk. Brenda emailed me around noon. Investigation proceeding, CEO briefing moved to Thursday afternoon. Thomas will be terminated Friday. Amanda's status pending review. You holding up okay? I wrote back, I'll be ready. That evening, Amanda wanted to finalize the seating chart. We sat at the dining table together, her laptop between us, moving digital name cards around like chess pieces. I think Thomas and Susan should be at table 4, she said, close enough to be part of the celebration, but not too close. What do you think? I looked at the screen. Table 4 was right near the head table where Amanda and I would sit. Prime real estate. Perfect placement, I said. She beamed. I'm so glad you think so. I've been agonizing over this for weeks. I watched her work, the tip of her tongue poking out in concentration, the way it always did when she was focused. This habit I'd found endearing for a decade. Now it just reminded me how much of an act this all was. Do you ever look at someone you've known for years, I said slowly, and realize you never really saw them? Amanda glanced up. What do you mean? Nothing, just thinking about how people surprise you. She smiled. Well, I hope I still surprise you in good ways. Oh, you do, I said, and I meant it, just not the way she thought. That night I slept in the guest room again. Amanda noticed. Honey, that's 2 nights now. Everything okay? Big audit at work. Don't want to keep you up with my laptop. You sure that's all? For a second, I wanted to tell her everything, to give her the chance to confess, to come clean, to somehow salvage something. But then I remembered her face in that footage, the way she looked at Thomas, the lies upon lies upon lies. I'm sure, I said, just work stress. It'll be done soon. She kissed my forehead. Only 3 more days until the party, then we can relax and celebrate. Can't wait. She went to bed. I lay awake in the guest room, staring at the ceiling, running through Saturday night in my mind, every detail, every moment, every word I'd say. Thursday morning, I met James at his office during my lunch break. He had the divorce papers ready, thick stack of documents, legal language, checkboxes, and signatures. Irreconcilable differences as the cause. Date of separation, Saturday, June 15th, the day of the party. You're really doing this, James said, watching me sign. I really am. No second thoughts? I thought about the footage, the timeline, 2 years of betrayal. None. James would file the papers Friday morning. I'd have copies to serve Saturday night. Everything legal, everything documented, everything ready. Thursday afternoon, the office atmosphere shifted. People were tense, whispering in hallways. Something was happening at the executive level. Thomas was called into the CEO's office at 2 p.m. He came back 45 minutes later looking shaken, pale. He snapped at his assistant about something trivial, which was unusual. Thomas was normally the charismatic, easygoing boss everyone loved. But I knew what had happened in that meeting. They'd told him about the investigation, shown him the footage, informed him he was being terminated. I watched from my desk as he gathered his things and left early. He didn't look at anyone, didn't say goodbye. The gossip mill started immediately. "Did you see Thomas? He looked terrible. You think he's getting fired?" I said nothing, just worked on my spreadsheets and waited. That evening was the venue walkthrough. Amanda and I met the coordinator at the restaurant to finalize details: table placement, lighting, AV equipment for the slideshow. Amanda had prepared a photo montage of our relationship. Our greatest hits, she called it. Pictures from when we were dating, engagement photos, the wedding, vacations, holidays. She'd set it to some sentimental song timed perfectly. The coordinator showed us the AV setup, projection screen, speakers, laptop connection. "Can I add a few last-minute photos?" I asked. "Want to surprise Amanda?" "Of course," the coordinator said. "Just send me the file Friday and I'll queue it up." Amanda looked touched. "Honey, that's so sweet." After the walkthrough, I pulled the coordinator aside while Amanda was in the restroom. "Actually, I have the file ready now." I handed her the USB drive Brenda had given me. "Use this file instead of Amanda's slideshow. Don't mention it to her. It's a surprise." The coordinator smiled conspiratorially. "How romantic." "Don't worry, I won't say a word." If only she knew. Driving home, Amanda reached for my hand across the center console. Her skin was soft, familiar. "Thank you for being patient with all my craziness about this party," she said. I know I've been obsessive." I squeezed her hand, said nothing. Couldn't trust my voice. "I just want everyone to see how lucky I am," she continued. "How lucky we are." I wanted to scream, wanted to pull over and tell her everything, wanted to give her one last chance to confess, to tell the truth, to maybe salvage something. But she just smiled at me, squeezed my hand, said nothing. The lies felt like freedom to her, right up until they'd bury her. Friday arrived. The last full day before the party, the last day of normal. Brenda's official email came at 9 a.m. Decision finalized. Thomas Reynolds terminated effective Monday. Exit interview scheduled next week. Amanda Chen placed on administrative review. Demotion likely. A separate personal email. "I'm sorry again, Christopher. For what it's worth, you handled this with remarkable grace." Grace. That was one word for it. Thomas wasn't at work Friday. Using PTO, probably. Didn't know yet that Monday would be his last day. His career in shambles, his marriage likely over. I felt no satisfaction, no triumph, just cold acknowledgement. A colleague stopped by my desk. "Hey, big weekend for you. Anniversary party tomorrow, right?" "Yeah, really big." "Amanda must be thrilled. She's been talking about it for months." "She's very excited," I said, and she was, genuinely, completely excited for a party that would destroy her. During lunch, I made the final financial moves James had advised. Transferred half our joint savings to the new account I'd opened, legally defensible, protecting my assets. Amanda wouldn't notice until Monday, didn't obsess over the accounts like I did. Changed passwords on my individual retirement accounts, gathered important documents, birth certificates, property titles, insurance policies, secured everything. Friday evening, Amanda wanted to cook together. Our tradition before big events. We made pasta, opened a bottle of wine from our honeymoon in Italy. She was relaxed, happy. After tomorrow, we can finally relax and celebrate properly, just the two of us. We watched TV on the couch. She fell asleep with her head on my shoulder, like she'd done 1,000 times before. I looked at her peaceful face and thought, this is the last time she'll ever be this calm around me. The last time before everything changes. After she went to bed, I sat in my home office, reviewed everything one final time, Legal documents ready. Footage file sent to venue coordinator. Timeline for Saturday memorized. I wrote out what I'd say at the party. Practiced it once, voice low so Amanda wouldn't hear. Then I took our wedding photo off the wall, the one where we're cutting the cake, laughing, covered in frosting. We looked so young, so happy, so certain we'd figured it out. I put it in a drawer and closed it. Saturday morning arrived bright and clear. Perfect weather for a perfect party. Amanda was up at 7, electric with excitement. Hair appointment at noon, nails at 2, makeup at 4. She created a minute-by-minute schedule for the day, printed and laminated like a military operation. "You handle any last-minute vendor issues," she said, kissing my cheek. "I trust you completely." Past tense, I thought. Trusted. Past tense. At 11, I drove to the venue alone for a final check. Met the coordinator, confirmed the AV setup. "The surprise file is all loaded," she whispered. "It'll play right after dinner when you give the signal." I tipped her an extra $100. "This means a lot, thank you." I walked through the space. Tables already set, white linens crisp. The centerpieces Amanda had agonized over placed perfectly. Flowers arriving, soft lighting tested, everything beautiful. In 8 hours, this room would witness a detonation. I went home to get ready, showered, shaved, dressed in my charcoal suit, the one Amanda had bought me last Christmas. She said it made me look distinguished. I looked at myself in the mirror. I looked like a man about to celebrate 10 years of love. I felt like a man about to execute a battle plan. Amanda returned at 5, professionally styled and glowing. Hair perfect, nails done, makeup subtle and elegant. She came to show me. "How do I look?" She looked stunning. The midnight blue dress fit perfectly, her hair cascading over one shoulder, the silver necklace I'd bought her catching the light. "Beautiful," I said, and I meant it. She hugged me tight. "I love you so much." I held her, eyes open. "I know." I didn't say it back. First time in 10 years, she didn't notice. We drove to the venue at 6:15. Amanda checked her phone obsessively, tracking RSVPs, vendor confirmations, every tiny detail. "Thomas and Susan just confirmed they're 15 minutes out," she said. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. "Are you nervous?" Amanda asked. "Just want everything to go perfectly." "It will. I can feel it." We pulled up to valet parking. The restaurant glowed warm in the early evening light. Guests were already arriving. I could see my parents getting out of their car, Amanda's sister pulling into a spot. Amanda took my hand. "Ready?" "Ready." We walked in together. The room was already half full. Hugs, congratulations, exclamations about how beautiful everything looked. Amanda was in her element, working the room, glowing with pride. I shook hands, smiled, played my part. The devoted husband, the lucky man. My dad caught my eye across the room. He knew something was coming. I nodded slightly. He put his hand on my mom's shoulder, protective. Table 4 filled up. Thomas and Susan arrived fashionably late. Susan in a lovely green dress, Thomas in a navy suit. Susan hugged Amanda, complimented her dress, gushed about the venue. "You two are relationship goals," Susan said, laughing. 10 years and still so in love." Amanda beamed. Thomas smiled. I smiled. We were all such good actors. James arrived at 7:30, carrying his briefcase. He caught my eye, nodded once. The papers were ready. Dinner service began at 7:45. Salad, then filet mignon and grilled salmon, Amanda's carefully chosen menu. The food was excellent. Conversations flowed, wine poured, laughter echoed off the brick walls. Amanda's hand found mine under the table. Squeezed. I squeezed back. This was it. The last peaceful moment she'd ever have. At 8:20, Amanda's dad stood up, tapping his champagne glass with a fork. The room quieted. "I'd like to make a toast," he said, voice thick with emotion. 10 years ago, I didn't just gain a son-in-law. I gained a son. Christopher, You've been everything I could have hoped for, Amanda. Patient, kind, steady. You two are what marriage should look like. Everyone raised their glasses. I had to stand, had to hug him, had to accept his words while knowing what I was about to do to his daughter. Thank you, I managed. That means everything. At 8:35, the coordinator dimmed the lights. The projection screen lowered. Amanda has prepared a special look back at their journey together, she announced. Amanda's slideshow began. Photos from our relationship set to a sentimental piano song, us at Pike Place Market on our second date, the engagement on the beach in California, wedding photos, her in white, me in my tux, both of us laughing, vacations, holidays, ordinary moments made special by time, guests all add at the pictures. Someone wiped away tears. Amanda watched the screen, her own eyes glistening. The slideshow ended. Applause. Amanda stood and took a playful bow. I stood up. Before we cut the cake, I said, taking the microphone from the coordinator, I have a few words. Amanda looked surprised, pleased. Honey, you didn't have to. Oh, but I did. Something in my tone made her smile falter slightly, just a flicker. Then it was back. 10 years is a long time, I said, addressing the room. Long enough to build a life, long enough to really know someone. Pause, or at least to think you do. The room was quiet now, attentive. Something in the air had shifted. Amanda worked so hard on tonight, she wanted it perfect. She wanted everyone we love here to celebrate us. I looked at her. Her smile was uncertain now. So I thought it was only fitting that I contribute to the presentation. I added a few more photos I thought everyone should see. I signaled the coordinator. Can you play the second file, please? Amanda's face went confused. Second file? Christopher, what? Just a few more memories, honey. Trust me, everyone should see this. The screen flickered. The hotel lobby exterior appeared, timestamp in the corner. Thursday, March 14th, 11:47 p.m., confused murmurs in the room. What hotel is this? Then Amanda and Thomas entered the frame, his hand on her lower back, both laughing, heading to the elevators. The room went silent. You could hear Amanda's sharp intake of breath. Christopher, stop this, right now. Sit down, Amanda, I said calmly. Everyone deserves to see the whole story. The second clip played. Friday morning, 6:22 a.m. Thomas exiting the elevator, fixing his shirt. Amanda, 90 seconds later, different clothes. The kiss before they separated, gasps around the room. Someone's wine glass hit the table too hard. Susan Reynolds stood up. Thomas, what the hell is this? Third clip, hotel bar, Friday, 10:18 p.m., sitting close, her hand on his thigh. Him tucking her hair behind her ear, the kiss, leaving together. Amanda's mom let out a sob. Her dad's face had gone red, then white. Fourth clip. Saturday morning, 7:03 a.m. Same elevator, same room, obviously. Comfortable, intimate, like they'd done this 100 times. Each clip landed like a bomb. The room was chaos. Sharp voices, crying, shocked silence. Thomas stood, face crimson. This isn't, you can't just, I can, I said into the microphone. For those wondering, this footage is from the Regional Operations Retreat, 3 months ago. The one where Amanda said she was bored and missed me. I looked directly at Amanda. She was frozen, tears streaming down her face, mascara starting to run. That's my wife, Amanda. And that's my boss, Thomas Reynolds. That's his wife, Susan, sitting right there at table 4. I paused, let it sink in. You wanted everyone to see how perfect we are, Amanda. Well, now they see how perfect you and Thomas are. Amanda lunged forward, trying to grab the microphone. You bastard. You had no right. I stepped back, held the microphone out of reach. My voice stayed calm, cold. I had every right. You're my wife. He's my boss. This is called consequences. I signaled James. He approached with a manila envelope, the kind attorneys use for official documents. "James, would you serve Mrs. Chen, please?" James handed the envelope to Amanda. She took it automatically, hands shaking. "You've been served, Amanda. Divorce papers. As of tonight, we're officially separated. It's over." Her knees buckled. Her sister rushed to catch her. Across the room, Susan was screaming at Thomas. "How long? How long have you been fucking her?" Thomas tried to speak, failed, tried again. "Susan, I can explain." "Don't you dare!" Susan threw her champagne in his face. The glass shattered on the floor. "Don't you dare try to explain this." The room was pandemonium. Amanda's mother sobbing. Her father standing in shocked silence. Guests pulling out phones, recording, texting, posting. The coordinator trying desperately to restore order and failing completely. I stood at the center of it all, microphone still in hand, perfectly calm. Amanda looked at me through her tears. "You're cruel. You're fucking cruel." "I'm honest," I said. "There's a difference." Thomas tried to leave. Susan blocked his path, still screaming. He pushed past her and fled toward the exit. She followed, her voice echoing down the hallway. Amanda's dad approached me, his face a mask of shock and anger. "Did you have to do it like this, in front of everyone?" "She did this in secret," I said quietly. "I did it in the light, which is worse, sir." He had no answer. He turned and went to find his daughter, who had fled to the restroom with her sister and mother following. My parents came to me. My mom hugged me tight. I was shaking now that the adrenaline was starting to fade. "You okay, son?" Dad asked. "I will be." James appeared at my elbow. "Let's get you out of here." I handed the microphone back to the stunned coordinator. "Send the bill to Amanda Chen," I said. I looked around the room one last time. Half-eaten dinners, knocked over champagne glasses, the projection screen still frozen on footage of my wife and my boss leaving a hotel room together. The beautiful, untouched anniversary cake with its elegant script. "Happy 10th anniversary, Christopher and Amanda." "It really was perfect, Amanda," I said to the empty air, "just not the way you planned." I walked out of the venue. Outside, the evening was still beautiful, warm June air, the sun setting over the city. Valet brought my car. I tipped him and sat in the driver's seat. Didn't start the engine, just sat there, hands on the wheel, breathing. My phone started buzzing, texts, calls, notifications. I ignored them all. One text from an unknown number. "This is Susan Reynolds. Thank you. I needed to know." I stared at that message for a long time. Then I started the car and drove to the hotel where I'd booked a room that morning. Couldn't go home. Didn't want to be there when Amanda eventually returned. I checked in, went to my room, sat on the edge of the bed in my suit. Finally, I cried. Not sad crying, not relief crying, just release. Everything I'd held in for 7 days pouring out. My phone rang. "Dad." "We're proud of you, son. That took guts." James called. "From a legal standpoint, you're solid. She can't claim anything when she's the one who committed the offense." Brenda texted. "I heard. Monday's going to be interesting at work. For what it's worth, I think you did the right thing." I didn't answer Amanda's 17 missed calls, didn't listen to her voicemails, didn't respond to the texts that ranged from apologetic to furious to desperate. I ordered room service, couldn't eat it, turned on the TV, didn't watch it, just sat there in a generic hotel room, still in my suit, tie loosened. I took off my wedding ring for the first time in 10 years, set it on the nightstand. It was done. The marriage, the charade, the performance, all of it. But there was no triumph in that moment, no satisfaction, just quiet and exhaustion, and the faintest glimmer of something that might eventually become relief. I fell asleep fully clothed on top of the covers, my phone still buzzing with messages I didn't read. The next morning was Sunday. I woke up disoriented, still in my suit, morning light streaming through hotel curtains. My phone had died overnight. I plugged it in and immediately regretted it. 93 notifications. I didn't open social media, but James sent screenshots. The story had gone viral locally. Videos from the party posted online. Husband exposes cheating wife at anniversary party, trending on Twitter. Reactions split between hero and monster. I didn't read the comments. Strangers dissecting the worst moment of my life like it was entertainment. I showered, put on the spare clothes I'd packed, checked out of the hotel, drove aimlessly for a while, ended up at a coffee shop on the waterfront, sat outside watching boats, drinking coffee I didn't taste. Monday, I didn't go to work. I'd taken the week off, pre-planned. James emailed me updates. Thomas had been officially terminated, escorted out by security. Company memo sent about ethics violations. Christopher's name not mentioned. Amanda placed on administrative leave, likely to be demoted or fired. Colleagues were texting. Dude, are you okay? Holy shit, we had no idea. Do you need anything? I responded to none of them. Tuesday, I had to meet with lawyers. Amanda's attorney was pushing back, claiming emotional distress from public humiliation. James was blunt. She committed adultery for 2 years. Good luck with that argument. Asset division was straightforward. No kids made it simpler. The house was mine. I'd bought it before marriage. Joint accounts split 50-50. Amanda would have to move out. She was staying with her sister. Wednesday afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Christopher, it's Susan Reynolds. Susan, hi. Can we meet? Just coffee. I think we both could use someone who understands. We met that afternoon at a quiet cafe in Fremont. She looked tired, older than I'd seen her Saturday night, but composed. I filed for divorce Monday morning, she said. Thomas is living in his brother's basement. We talked, not as friends, we weren't that, but as survivors of the same shipwreck. She'd suspected something was wrong for months. Late nights, business trips, Thomas being distant, but no proof, never proof. I'm grateful you showed me, she said. I know that sounds strange, but I needed to know. I couldn't keep living in the lie. How are you holding up? Some moments better than others. I took the house, the cars, most of the savings. Thomas has nothing left but his shitty decisions. She paused. And you? Same. Some moments better than others. She left after an hour. We weren't going to become close, but there was understanding between us. Two people who'd had their lives blown up by the same grenade. Thursday, I had my first therapy appointment. I'd found a counselor who specialized in betrayal trauma. Talk me through what happened, she said. I told her everything, the footage, the week of pretending, the party, the aftermath. She listened without judgment. Then, revenge can feel like justice, but it doesn't heal the wound. That's separate work. I know. Do you regret it? I thought about that. No, she deserved consequences, but I regret the collateral damage. Her parents, her sister, Susan, all the people who got hurt just by being there. That's a mature perspective. Most people in your position would just focus on the satisfaction. There was no satisfaction, I said quietly. Just necessity. The week crawled by. I existed in a strange limbo. Not quite my old life, not yet my new one. Friday, I finally listened to one of Amanda's voicemails. The first one left Sunday morning. Her voice was raw, destroyed. You didn't just divorce me, Christopher. You destroyed me in front of everyone I love. Was it worth it? Does it feel good? Long pause, breathing. I'm sorry I hurt you. I am. But what you did, I'll never forgive you. Never. The message ended. I sat with that for a long time. She was right. I hadn't just exposed her. I'd obliterated her. Public humiliation, professional consequences, social destruction. That evening, my dad came by the hotel. You okay, son? Honestly, I don't know. Part of me feels guilty. For what? She's the one who cheated. For how I did it. For using her own party. For making it a spectacle. Dad was quiet for a moment. You had a right to be angry. You had a right to leave. But the method, That's on you to live with. I wanted her to hurt like I hurt, I admitted, and she does, but I still hurt too. That's the thing about revenge, Chris. It doesn't erase what they did. It just adds something new to carry. I'd do it again, I said. I don't regret the exposure. She deserved consequences, but I regret the collateral damage. Her family, Susan, the people who got hurt just by being there. The question now isn't whether you were justified, Dad said. It's what you do next, who you become after this. He was right. I couldn't stay in this hotel room forever, couldn't keep existing in this limbo. Monday, 2 weeks after the party, I finally went home. The house felt different, empty. Amanda had come by with her sister to get her things while I was gone. Closets half empty, bathroom missing her products. The space echoed. I walked through each room, seeing the ghost of our life together. Photos still on walls, her books still on shelves. I'd have to deal with all of it eventually, but not yet. 1 month after the party, I resigned from my job. It was a mutual decision with HR, too awkward for me to stay. They gave me a generous severance package, clean break for everyone. I got a job offer from a smaller firm across town, better culture, slight pay raise, fresh start where nobody knew my story. Amanda lost her job, terminated for ethics violations, conflict of interest with a superior. I heard through mutual friends she'd moved to Portland. Trying to start over somewhere, nobody knew what happened. I felt complicated about that, not triumphant, not regretful, just aware that consequences had landed for both of us. Thomas was completely destroyed. Susan took everything in the divorce. He was blackballed in the industry. Ethics violations follow you. Last I heard, he was working retail, living small. I felt nothing about his downfall, just distance. I started rebuilding, therapy every week, working out, physical outlet for everything I couldn't say, reconnecting with friends I'd neglected, guys' nights, hiking, normal life things. 3 months after the party, I went on my first date. Nothing serious, just coffee with someone I'd met through a friend. She asked the inevitable question. So why did your marriage end? Infidelity. It got messy. I didn't elaborate, didn't mention the party. It wasn't first date material. That same week, I got an email from Amanda. First contact since that voicemail. Subject, I don't expect a response. I've had time to think. What I did was unforgivable. What you did was devastating. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm not offering it either. But I hope you're okay. And I hope someday I will be too. We both deserved better than what we became. I read it 3 times. Didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. But I didn't delete it either. 6 months after the party, my life had stabilized. New job going well. I'd already been promoted to senior analyst. I was dating someone casually, Sarah. No pressure, taking it slow. She was kind, funny, didn't push for information I wasn't ready to give. I was closer with my family. Dad and Mom visited often. James and I had dinner every few weeks. I still went to therapy, though less frequently. One Saturday morning, I ran into a mutual friend at the grocery store, Amanda's college roommate. Awkward encounter. Hey, Christopher, how are you? I'm good. You? Small talk, the elephant in the room. Finally, I heard Amanda moved to Portland. Fresh start. Good for her, I said, and I meant it. That night, Sarah stayed over. Sunday morning, she noticed the wedding ring still sitting on my nightstand where I'd left it 6 months ago. You kept it? Yeah, not as a shrine, just as a reminder. Of what? That I'm capable of love, and also capable of real cruelty when I'm hurt. Both of those things are true. I have to live with both. She was quiet for a moment, then, that's pretty self-aware. Therapy helps. We made breakfast together. Sarah told a funny story about her nephew. I laughed, a real laugh. Not forced, not performance. It felt good. Later that day, I sat alone with my coffee, looking out the window at Seattle rain. I thought about the party, the footage, Amanda's face when the clips played, the room erupting, the destruction. Did I regret it? Honestly? No. Would I do it differently? Maybe, probably. I wasn't sure, but I was here. I'd survived. I was rebuilding, and that was enough. 1 year after the party, I went to a friend's wedding. Full circle, not my own celebration, but witnessing someone else's. I watched the couple exchange vows, felt okay, not cynical, not bitter, just realistic. Marriage was a gamble. Sometimes you won, sometimes you lost everything. Sarah was beside me, her hand in mine. I squeezed it. She smiled. We'd been together 5 months, nothing serious yet. But she was good, real, honest. Honest mattered now more than anything. During the reception, I stepped outside for air. The venue overlooked Puget Sound, the water dark and endless. A year ago, I destroyed my marriage in front of 80 people. I didn't know if I was proud of that, but I knew I was proud of who I was becoming after it. Amanda wanted a perfect anniversary. I gave her an unforgettable one. We both got what we deserved, and somehow we both survived. That's the thing about betrayal and revenge. Neither one fixes the original wound. They just create new scars. And you carry both sets forward. But here's what I learned. Carrying scars is different from being broken. Scars prove you survived. They prove you healed, even if you're not quite the same shape as before. If you're out there going through something like this, betrayal, heartbreak, the kind of pain that makes you want to burn it all down, just know this. You'll survive it. Maybe not unscathed, but you'll survive. And on the other side, you get to choose who you become. That's the real freedom. Not revenge, not exposure, not even justice, just the freedom to walk away and build something new. I went back inside to the reception. Sarah saved me a seat. The couple was having their first dance, wrapped up in each other, believing in forever. I hoped they made it, and I hoped if they didn't, they'd handle it better than I did, but I also hoped if they got betrayed like I was, they'd remember. You deserve the truth. You deserve consequences for those who hurt you, and you deserve to walk away with your head high, whatever that looks like for you. For me, it looked like hotel security footage on a projection screen and 80 witnesses to the truth. Was it right? Was it cruel? Was it justice? I don't know. Maybe all three. But it was honest. And after years of lies, honesty felt like the only thing that mattered. I raised my glass to the happy couple, and I meant it when I said, to love and to truth. May you always have both. Sarah squeezed my hand. I squeezed back, and that was enough.